All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to look beyond the usual suspects, beyond the mega hubs we all know, to explore a brand new investment geography that's really starting to pop. We're asking a simple question. What's the next big thing in Gulf real estate? And the whole idea we're diving into today really hinges on this one quote. The thinking is that the real explosive growth, the kind that truly transforms a market, it doesn't happen where everyone's already looking. Nope, it's found on the edges, in what you could call the rising peripheries, right before they become the next big thing. And this right here just perfectly explains that dynamic. You think about it. 20 years ago, Dubai was a rising periphery. Now, it's a global core market. That means high prices to get in, and the returns aren't what they used to be. So for any savvy investor, the billion-dollar question is always, where is the next periphery that's about to become a core? And that is exactly what brings us to our main focus today. We're looking at a place that is a textbook example of one of these rising peripheries. So let's put the spotlight on Marjan Island. So first thing you need to know, Marjan Island is not natural. It's a man-made group of islands, an archipelago that was built from the ground up with a super clear purpose to completely change the game for Ras Al Khaimah's coastline and make it a major investment hub. This is a very deliberate, very strategic move. Yeah, and this kind of thing doesn't just happen by magic. There's a very clear recipe at work here. First, you've got to have that strong government vision, that serious backing. That then opens the floodgates for huge infrastructure spending. And once that's in place, you get the final crucial ingredient, big-time global capital flowing in from major hotel brands and investors. It's all part of a coordinated plan. Okay, so we get the location, right? Now let's zoom in on a specific project that really gives us a clue about where this island is heading. We're talking about the BNW Pelagia project. What's really interesting here is less about the architecture and more about the why. This is a calculated bet. The whole strategy is to get a hold of prime land early on, let investors get in before prices really take off, and basically catch all that money that's looking for better value outside of the super expensive Dubai market, all while riding the wave of tourism demand. And this is where it gets good. The developer here, BNW, they're not playing the same game as the big guys. They're not trying to build massive, sprawling complexes. Their approach is much more niche. They're creating these boutique, beautifully designed projects that are all about a premium lifestyle. It's a smart way to stand out and grab the attention of a whole new type of global buyer. Okay, so that's the story, that's the strategy. But does it actually hold up? Let's get into the numbers and see how this project really scores based on the evidence. And here it is, the headline number. Using the ALand 100-point framework, the Pelagia project scores an 80 out of 100. That puts it squarely in the strong performer category. And let me tell you, that is a very, very solid score for a project that's still off plan in a market that's just taking off. So let's see how we get to that 80. Now, I'm not going to read every single line, but just look at that location strength score, a near perfect 14 out of 15. That tells you the island itself is the real star of the show here. It's the project's biggest asset. And while the product and developer scores are pretty strong, you'll notice that lower score for resale liquidity. That's just a reminder that, hey, this is still an emerging market. So let's just boil it down. What are the big strategic wins here? Number one, the location is amazing and it's backed by over $3 billion in investment. That's serious. Two, its premium design makes it stand out from the crowd. And three, the price you pay to get in gives you a big advantage over Dubai, which could mean much better returns down the line. But look, any good analysis has to be balanced, and there are absolutely risks here you need to keep your eye on. The developer, well, they're still building their long-term track record. The secondary market, for reselling these properties, it's still pretty new. So it's not as liquid as a mature market like Dubai. And all this fancy resort amenities, they come with ongoing service fees. These are just the realities you have to factor in. All right, let's pull the camera back out. We've gone from the big picture to the nitty-gritty of one project. So what's the major strategic takeaway here? Why does any of this matter to a global investor? It matters because Ras Al Khaimah is quickly becoming one of the most credible edge markets in the entire Gulf. It's one of those rare places where the fundamental groundwork is getting better and better, but the prices, the valuations haven't fully caught up to that future potential yet. And that is the sweet spot that smart money is always looking for. This timeline just puts it all into a perfect historical context. We all know the story, right? All that speculative capital pouring into Dubai in the early 2000s. Well, the argument here is that Ras Al Khaimah, and especially Marjan Island, is standing at a very, very similar starting line today. And that really brings us to the bottom line. You shouldn't see a project like BNW Pelagia as just a collection of apartments. It's more than that. It's a strategic access point. It's a way for an investor to get in on the ground floor and participate in the transformation of this whole new geography before it becomes a fully priced mainstream market.
Which, leaves us with the ultimate question. The one question any investor has to ask themselves when they see an opportunity like this. In a world where timing is absolutely everything, is this the signal before the rest of the crowd arrives?